Hi guys, I'm John Carrick, author of Legacy of a Mad Scientist and The Legend of Ashley Fox. Today we're looking at 100 Bullets 44, still a prison story, and we've got the Hanged Man, the imp. It's a devil over a boiling pot, hung by one leg. You guys should check out Jim Bianco's song, It Was a Tennessee Wedding. He's got this one refrain, The Devil Made Me Do It. Great song. And that one sure as heck fits this too. Here is a QR code for the conflicted deck. So if you want to check these out, just this light is for shit today. Anyhow, there's that. Why do they keep sliding off too? And we've got the Queen of Diamonds when we get to it. This one's about the electrical power going out. What would you feed your livestock of chickens, pigs, and rabbits? Or chickens, rabbits, and what do they have here? Yeah, pigs. Pigs will eat anything. I would not keep hogs, domesticated or feral hogs, unless it's for getting rid of bodies. And then you don't eat them. What you do is you use the pigs to feed other animals. And God only knows what you'd feed a pig to. Do chickens eat meat? Jesus Christ, I don't think I want to know. All right, 100 Bullets 44. I know you shouldn't feed chickens eggs or other chickens. That's fucked up. All right, so lights out. This guy is Lono's new cellmate, and he's telling him about how everything works, and he's very impressed with Lono for being a cop killer, and that he wishes he had killed the cops who put him in here. But he didn't. He's telling him about how you can get anything in prison and how he can help him get it. And he knows what to look for and who to talk to, and just let me know what you want. Lono says, how about a private cell? Yeah. Chill in the oven part 2. Flips his cigarette. It looks like it hits Lono in the head. Maybe he was aiming for the toilet and he missed. Now we cut to Luke Hughes, and his cellmate. I don't remember his cellmate's name. But they're having a conversation about who Lono is and what's up and what's coming. And so Luke knows Lono from a previous time in jail where Lono took everything off of him and Luke didn't put up a fight. And so he knows that Lono's going to see him as a punk and not give him any respect. His cellmate is telling him, no, man, everyone respects you. You beat up 9 Train. And 9 Train is still in the infirmary. That is confirmed by one of the cops coming up, one of the guards, actually. So this is the morning. Everyone's out and on the line, up, out, and on the line. They come through checking all the cells and talk to Lono about his cellmate. He's still sleeping. I guess he's tired. And they get to him. Now, here's the question, right? If you suffocate someone, there's petechial hemorrhaging around the eyes. The blood vessels in the eyes start to bleed. So apparently Lono killed this guy without leaving a mark. The cops find him dead, but they don't hold Lono responsible. Even if he'd suffocated him with a pillow over his face, the eyes still would have bled. The blood vessels in the eyes still would have bled. It wouldn't have been any marks around his neck, but he'd very much be dead from suffocation. Of course, if he'd strangled him, there'd be marks there. If he'd stabbed him, there'd be marks there. So, maybe he crushed a rib into his heart. Maybe he punched him in the heart. But they will find that mark soon enough as well. As it stands, they think he died in his sleep 3 months before his parole. And that sits just fine with Lono. He's got a cell to himself. Now we get a shower scene. Everyone's talking about what's going on, about how the kid died in his cell, and what could have possibly happened. And Luke knows that kid didn't die in his cell. He was killed. He was murdered. I think his name was Arvis. And this guy, the big dude's name is Airy. His name is right up here. Airy. That motherfucker was killed, Airy. I know it. And someone says, looking for Airy. Are you the shot caller in here? So that's Lono. And he has a list of stuff he wants. And Airy's like, yeah, I'll get you all of it. Drop $1,200 in my commissary and I'll get you as much as I can. Lono's like, I ain't got no money. I ain't got nobody on the outside. And Airy's like, well then, you ain't got nothing. You ain't getting nothing. Airy's got a couple inches on Lono and probably 50, 60 pounds. But it doesn't matter. Not only does Airy, so he says he likes cigars. You can suck on this. And he says he wants real meat. That was the other thing he said. He didn't want no soy mush. He wants real meat, beef, etc., etc. And it pops off. This is the fight. I'm going through this too fast. The art deserves more time on screen. And of course, Airy's not alone. Even though he gets a broken nose out of it, he's got a bunch of homies in the shower with him, his crew. I don't know how long I want to leave two naked dudes doing judo on the fucking screen, but it is what it is. The colors have gotten better. I noticed highlights and stuff in this one that I haven't seen before, in addition to just the, see like here on the hand, there's some more coming up. Looks like it's being done harder. So all these guys are in Airy's crew, and they jump into the fight. Loop ain't involved. He ain't touching this one. And none of Airy's crew make it either. Everyone gets their ass kicked. Except Lono, who walks out. That's his shadow walking out. He says, hey, Loop, come by what does he say? My house. We'll watch TV. So he remembers him, and he doesn't hold nothing against him. And Loop also told the story about how his last cellmate, he raped him to death before he murdered him. So presumably that's what he did to this kid too. And now because someone was found dead, the guards are doing a search, and everyone has to throw all their contraband out of their cells, or if they get caught with it, they get extra time added to their sentences. So Loop and his cellmate are going through all their stuff and getting rid of whatever they're not supposed to have, which the guards supplied him with in the first place. People's appetites being used against them. They've got some drugs, some weapons. This guy's throwing out a massive knife. A little bit of weed, it looks like. Slamming some Robitussin. And again, the story tells itself. I was reading a thing today about how Sal Buscema talking about how the Marvel method worked for the set of artists that existed in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Nowadays, they don't do that anymore because the artists barely know how to draw. They certainly don't know how to tell a story. And my theory about that is the old artists used to read fiction. Nowadays, artists only watch TV. And if you only watch TV, you're not accustomed to creating images in your mind. You're not accustomed to seeing images that other authors have described. And it's all about the order of description. The description needs to place the images in the mind's eye in a very specific order. And my theory is that the old artists, Sal and John Buscema, Jack Kirby, the Romitas, that they could do this because they read fiction, and modern artists can't do it because they're functionally illiterate. Even some of my favorite artists have admitted that English was their worst subject, or that they don't read and don't write, and they may be great illustrators, but they're not great storytellers. They're not the same thing. So the Marvel method really doesn't work nowadays. And no artist wants to have every frame of every panel and every panel of every page dictated to them by some writer who can't draw, because there's no respect there. So you have a problem where comics today suck. And manga is great because it's being done by a functionally literate society. Asians are smart people. America has been dumbed down to the lowest common denominator. I think the entire school district of Chicago is functionally illiterate. They didn't have anyone pass reading and math at a high school level. That's what diversity got you. This country needs to be segregated again. Let the blacks go build their own Wakanda. I saw someone else say all blacks should start life in prison and only get out if they're good. I can't argue with that. Here we are getting good highlights on the actual images. I should go back and see if this has been present the entire time in this series, because I haven't noticed it so much. But we are getting more effort out of the colorist in this issue. At least I'm noticing it. It might have been there all along. They got a little bit of yayo. They throw that out as well. The dogs are barking. The prisoners are barking back. They go through Loop and his cellmate's cell. And this guard explains to Loop that 9 Train will get out of the infirmary. And this guard hates Loop. For whatever reason. Doesn't matter. He probably hates all the convicts. Guards are hateful people. Prison guards deserve a life in prison, and that's why they're there. You know, it's really funny, that story about the comedian. God, why am I spacing on his name right now? Huge guy, got really famous, and his brother, he let his brother run his career, and his brother had been a prison guard, and he got him out of it. And then his brother started stealing from him, his brother and his wife, and he ended up sending his brother to prison. His older half-brother ended up sending him to the same prison where he was a guard. I'll remember as soon as I'm done with this and put his name on the screen, I'm sure. Or I'll look it up. It doesn't matter. Maybe I'll just cut that whole bit. Anyhow, this guard smacks Loop and just gives him a hard time. This is good drama. You know, we got to have something. You got to have some kind of conflict in the scene. And why not? He doesn't really have anything to say to him. Just that he's a piece of shit convict. Lono barking at the dogs. This guard threatening Loop. 9 Train's gonna get out of the infirmary eventually. Sooner or later, your number's up. And they just discuss, oh, Cotton. His name is Cotton. Yo, Cotton. Something's going on. And this is, the guards get theirs for Lono murdering his cellmate. They go in and let him have what for. And that's it. This is sort of it's not a non-issue. The problem with stories is that the middle act drags. The middle act is long and relatively boring. You get the promise, the twist, and the prestige. We haven't seen the twist yet. This is the gap between the promise and the twist, and then the prestige is the ending. To quote the Christopher Nolan movie, The Prestige, with Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman. It's embarrassing I can't remember that comedian's name. I want to say I don't want to say because I know that's wrong. Anyhow, what would you feed your livestock? Fucking cards. If you, at the end of the world, what would you feed your livestock if you had livestock? Beef eat grain, grass-fed beef are the best. Chickens eat grain, presumably rice, I guess. But if you have rice, why are you going to feed it to chickens? Chicken lay eggs, that's a good reason. But rice is good too. And I don't know. I guess that's it for today. I don't have too much to say. Hope you're all having a great Sunday. Talk to you tomorrow.